Hi guys, welcome back to another video. If you're new here, my name is Faith. I'm a registered nurse, and on this channel I talk more about general leveling up, especially your career, and especially for those nurses who want to relocate from their respective countries to the USA to work as nurses. This is the channel for you. So if you're new here, feel free, feel welcomed. Don't forget to like this video if you find it educative, and don't forget to subscribe. And if you are returning, thank you so much for the support. Thank you for coming back, and I'm sure that you'll get some knowledge today. So today we are going to talk about the reasons why an agency can refuse you when you apply. Remember last week, guys, I talked about what to do after an agency refuses you. But then today I'm going to talk about some of the reasons why an agency can refuse to take you as part of their team, for you to join their team as a nurse. So that's what we are going to talk about today. So get excited, stay tuned. Let's get right into it. So guys, I know there are some of you here who are doing these things on their own, and there are some of you who haven't gotten agencies yet. So I want to tell you that you put this in mind as you are applying to an agency. If you are clever enough and you read in between the lines, you are not going to make these mistakes, and you'll know how to go about applying to a nursing agency. So take note of these things. If you don't meet some of these requirements, an agency will definitely not take you. So as you listen, you may want to write down some of these things that may hinder you from being taken by any nursing agency that is looking to recruit a nurse from international countries to the US. So just take note of it. You may need to write it down. If you need to write them down, just pause this video and go look for a pen and paper, and let's continue. And if you feel like you don't need, you can always come back and watch this video, and just keep that in mind while you're applying for a nursing agency. So the first reason why an agency can reject you is, this is very common. It is kind of common sense, but I get questions about this, is if you don't have a valid nursing license in the country of your residency or in your practice country. I get questions from graduates who've just graduated, who are on internship, and they don't have a license yet. And they ask me if they can apply to a nursing agency to start the process of relocating to the US. So for such kind of people, I'll just tell you, just be patient, and you can start the process by doing other things, preparing yourself, like looking at NCLEX materials, applying for your passports, just getting familiar with the different agencies that are on the ground, and just motivating yourself, talking to people who are in the US, talking to people who are in the process, preparing yourself financially. That's what you can do. But in the meantime, until you get the license, is when an agency will consider you. They won't take you if you don't have a practicing license in the country that you are in. And for those who are in the practice, if you have your license and it has expired, definitely they will not take you. You won't apply with an expired license. So just take note, because I understand there are people who stay with their licenses and they are expired, and they take time for them to renew. So just take note that when you are applying, make sure you have a valid practicing license as you are applying for a nursing agency. Another thing that will make an agency refuse you if you don't have at least 1 year experience of consistent experience in your country. So let's say you've just graduated school from university maybe some months ago. You are not qualified to apply for this because agencies look for someone who has experience. So until you get to 1 year in your practice and you have to be consistent with your practice is when you can apply. So in the meantime, do the things that I've just told you. Start preparing yourself until you get at least 1 year experience. For interns, I haven't researched yet if they consider that an experience, but I think for those who already have a license, after 1 year, you will really qualify to apply for an agency. And this, there's nothing you can do about it. You can't even lie about it because the years of your graduation will just definitely betray you. So just make sure that you are working at least consistently in a tertiary level hospital or a secondary level hospital in your country for at least 1 year. Okay? And then another reason why an agency can refuse you is if your facility that you're working in or the hospital that you're working in has less than 100 bed capacity. I see other agencies say less than 80 bed capacity, but just to be safe, at least 100 bed capacity. That is one big reason, and it is almost always a reason why an agency refuses you at a go. If you tell your agency that I'm working in an outpatient setting or facility that only handles outpatient cases, and it has like 2 bed capacity or maybe 30 or whatever, just less than 100, they won't consider you because they don't find it as an inpatient setting or a big setting that will match up to standards of the facilities that they are looking to place you in after you've done with your NCLEX and when you relocate to the US. So just bear in mind when you are applying, please don't indicate that you have a bed capacity of less than 100, and just make sure you position yourself in hospitals that meet this capacity for you to be a good candidate for this. Okay. Another thing that might make an agency refuse you is some agencies they usually require IELTS upfront. So as you are researching the agencies that you want to apply to, please do your due diligence and research and make sure that they don't need IELTS upfront. And if this is the agency that you want and they need IELTS upfront, IELTS is doable. You can do it on your own. Do the IELTS, get the required band, and apply to this agency. It will actually give you an upper hand when you are applying. If you don't know the band scores that you require, for the US you only require 6.5 general and above, and speaking of 7 and above. So just consider that when you are applying for agencies. Inquire about them, look on their sites, make sure they don't require IELTS. If you don't have IELTS, well and good, you can apply for those who don't require IELTS upfront. And if you want an agency that requires IELTS upfront, do it so that you maximize your chances of being taken by that agency. So just beware of that. And another thing that might make an agency to to refuse you is your area of specialty. Okay? Most agencies don't take pediatric nurses. Most agencies don't take OR nurses. Most agencies don't take maternity unit nurses. So when you are applying for them, actually most of them, they don't take those units that I've just talked about. Don't mention those units. You have to position yourself with, generally they like medical, surgical, nursing, these other departments. You can apply, but avoid pediatric, avoid maternity, avoid OR. I think most of the nurses in the US are really gravitated towards these units, so they barely find hospitals that are looking for nurses for these units. So if that's your area of specialty, you might consider switching it up before you apply for an agency. And while you are applying as a specialty, I don't mean that you have to have a certificate saying that you are specialized in that unit. A specialty means that the area you've worked there the most. That is what a specialty means when you are looking for these agencies. So just keep that in mind. Another thing that might make an agency not to accept you is if you fail their screening tests. So when you are applying for an agency, go to their sites, ask people around, know that they'll follow up with a screening test. They don't want to take just someone blindly. Yes, they know you are a nurse, but they want to confirm if what is on your CV is really you. So they might follow up with a phone interview asking you about your unit. They might do an NCLEX style question interview. That is something like, the computer tests. They might send you questions just to look at your knowledge, because they also want to make sure that you'll pass the NCLEX and you'll be able to move to the US, because they don't want to invest in someone who might obviously fail the NCLEX. So take your time, go through NCLEX books, know your unit as you are applying for these agencies, because they'll definitely call you for an interview. So just take note of that. Okay, another reason why an agency can refuse you is if you don't reply your email. And this is a mistake that many people do, because like in my country, most of the people, the email is the last thing they check in a day. So they send you a mail that they have accepted you or they've received your application, and they will want to schedule an interview. Tell them when you are available, or they want to schedule an interview at this date, and you haven't checked your mail. You don't know, you have no idea that someone has scheduled an interview with you. So you get a phone call, you start panicking, you don't know what to say. And they think you're not professional, they think you're not prepared for this. So keep checking your mails. If you have applied with any agency, keep checking your mails, be on toes, make sure you really know, you are on the know about what is going on, so that you don't miss this kind of mails, and that will make them just see that you're not professional. Okay, I think generally that is. Another thing that I think agencies look at, although it is not really, I haven't seen most of them, it's about the working hours. You have to be working at least 40 hours a week, which most of us do. If you're really working as a nurse, most of us do 40 hours a week. So just take note of that while you are applying, because these things they'll ask you. Just be ready for such kinds of questions. Yeah. So I think this is a short video, but I think it's very informative. You should know these things so that you don't make mistakes. I know people are quick to start applying and they are excited about, yeah, I can start this, I can get an agency, and you go there blindly, apply. You write your CV blindly without considering anything, and then you get rejected and you get frustrated and you get demoralized. You have to know these things before you start applying for the agencies. And at the end of this video, you'll see some of these agencies that I'm talking about that you can go around and look at them. And also, I'll also be linking a video that I did last week about what to do if you are ever denied by a chance by an agency. So you can also watch that. And thank you guys, because we are now at 250 subscribers. Please share this video if you think it will help someone, and also share to groups that you think someone might be interested in. And I thank you guys. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to comment in the comment section. Don't forget to read the description box, because there's some information that I always add there that I may not have talked about in the video. So don't forget that. And thank you guys for your support, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.